So yoga is big in the US, right? There are about 80 million people who have done yoga in the last, and this is slightly older data, and this probably number is a lot higher now, in the last 6 months, right? So yoga has been growing 15% year over year, even before the pandemic, because, at the core of it, it has that answer to a deeper question of about loneliness, isolation, about uh, people are feeling stressed out in America, and looking for holistic solutions. It's not just about physical, but it's also mental, and yoga has that mind-body connection, which is why it has been growing by itself. And this has been just really kind of ramped up with pandemic. So the market is massive. Now in this market, we actually look at three different segments, right? So the studio guys are doing a great job, and I think that's fantastic. There is that community which is wonderful. But we focus on three main segments. One is we call the studios, right? This is guys like me who don't really fit into a studio. I just am like, I would just, yeah, I mean, it's hard to get organized to go there. It's hard to kind of feel like I know what I'm doing and kind of look good doing it. And at the same time, I want to do it, and I want to kind of learn and practice consistently. So that's the studio segment, and that's a pretty massive segment, right? Typically, these studios have massive amount of churn. In a typical yoga studio, of the 100 people that sign up, about within a month there'd be like 90. And that churn is essentially people who are coming in who are like, okay, I want to do this, but it doesn't work. Flexibility, convenience, the level of the level of teachers, the level of instruction that is amenable for a beginner student is just not that. So that's the first segment. The second segment, which is really massive, and I'll tell you a story about one of the student in the first segment. There's this guy. His name is Michael Besson. He lives in New York City. He's been to a number of studios, just doesn't fit into any of these studios. Works on the Wall Street, and he signed up with us. He's practicing 17 times a week with us. He found his teacher. He's kind of getting one-on-one lessons and just getting a great experience from him. The second segment we call the relief and recovery, right? And this is people suffering from, back pain, knee pain, neck pain, right? 15 million people with chronic back pain in America. There's another 15 million, another 16 million with all kinds of other chronic joint pains. And the physiotherapy market and all that is either too expensive, the insurance doesn't cover it, there's all kinds of tension with that. With these guys, we go in and we kind of say, okay, you want to kind of talk one-on-one with the person who really can help you with your back pain. And yoga is amazing with that, right? So that's the second segment. And an example of this is this woman, Ursula. She is actually a student of ours from Baltimore. She signed up. She actually did yoga once. She was like, oh, I thought there was something about it I liked, but I just couldn't stick with it. She had an accident, so she kind of had a torn labrum. And she was in excruciating pain in the shoulder. She would go up and down, and doctor was like, okay, we're gonna have to do some surgery, and she wasn't sure. The physiotherapy thing was not working out, was too infrequent. She would feel better, but it was just not enough and not consistently enough, and she didn't feel like she was in charge of it. So she signed up with us. She found her teacher. She's been pain-free. She avoided surgery. She goes to the doctor, and doctor's like, I don't know what you're doing, but just keep doing it. It's like, you don't need surgery, but something's working. And so she signed up for a 1-year contract. She found her teacher and on her way to getting better. So just getting that one-on-one personalized connection and plan for each of these students, and finally the yoga nerds, which is essentially guys who've been practicing for a long time. They know what pranayama means. They know what chakra is, and these guys actually want to know more about that. And they're looking for, they actually know where Rishikesh actually is in the world. And so for these guys, we have the value proposition is very clear, which is that, hey, we bring Rishikesh to you. And so put together massive market, massive opportunity.